What is up, YouTube? In today's video, I wanted to give my opinion on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It just got released, or they just got talked about at E3 for Xbox, and I thought it was the perfect time to do a video on it. Instead of doing like the normal stuff that everyone does with the reaction video, I wanted to go kind of more in depth with it and try something a bit different than my normal talking, sitting videos. I wanted to go in depth with this new Dragon Ball game because I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. I wanted to go in depth with this Dragon Ball game, give my like little analysis, breakdown or whatever on my thoughts and opinions on the game and how I think it's gonna be and just like my overall opinion about it. But yeah, enough of that intro. I'm gonna get into it. Like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about the new Dragon Ball Z game. So back before Xbox came to E3 and announced the new Dragon Ball Z game, there was a trailer that first came out a couple months ago that was called Dragon Ball Z Project Z, I believe it was called. And there was just a simple like 1 minute trailer, didn't give us any gameplay, any insight, and by the way it was looking, I kind of feel that the overall game was gonna be something that we were used to for a long time. I felt like it was gonna be just a simple Dragon Ball Z game. I mean, from what I saw in the trailer, it looked great. Visually stunning, like it was an amazing looking game. Like right off the bat, like that's something I knew 100%. The game was, the visuals and the detail that they put and time that they put on really capturing that like Dragon Ball look and feel in the gameplay, like they really captured that from what I saw with the trailer. Like right off the bat, caught me just like that. But I was skeptical when I first saw the trailer, the first trailer as well. I was skeptical about overall gameplay and the mechanics. I was definitely skeptical about that. So fast forward months later, now we're at E3, Xbox comes to E3, they bring out the game under a whole new name. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is now the official title of the game that we're gonna get. And now we have exclusive gameplay of the game as well that I'll be showing here in a second. It's amazing how this game looks. Like, it looks totally fantastic. The gameplay looks fantastic in it. I mean, right away from seeing this gameplay, I thought, wow, they're doing something from what they did with the Budokai series in the story mode, and they're doing something with what they did in the Infinite World series with the story mode. And it's been so long since we've ever had an open world of an aspect where you could actually go around, explore, feel like you're really in the Dragon Ball Z universe, you know? It's been years since we've had a game like that. The last game that was like that with the story mode was, like I said, Infinite World, and that released in 2008 of November, I believe. The game before that was Tenkaichi 2. Which is an interesting game that I personally didn't know until I started doing more research on Dragon Ball Z itself as a game and a franchise. I didn't know that Tenkaichi 2 story mode had an open world type of aspect to it, which I thought was really cool to have back then. And Budokai dates back to 04, and that's when the open world they had that in Budokai 3, which is one of my favorite games too. And they had that back then, which is really cool. Really nice, and a concept that I love that they are probably going to bring back. I hope they're going to bring back from this gameplay. It looks like they're going to bring back. I don't understand why they wouldn't. I feel like in the open world aspect of Dragon Ball Z, the developers kind of strayed away from that as the game and franchise progressed. They kind of strayed away from the adventure of what Dragon Ball Z represented to kind of just the fighting, action, jumping right into, powering up with your favorite character and, battling either your friend or someone across the world or the computer or trying to get better. I feel like they really tried to hone down a core fighting mechanic for Dragon Ball Z. So as for what we know right off the bat, having all the information we got, we know that it's gonna be an awesome looking game visually. We know that the fighting mechanics have a massive upgrade. If you didn't like how Dragon Ball Z Fighters played, if you weren't a fan of the Street Fighter arcade type gaming, it's different than that. It's kind of, it looks almost like it's going in the Xenoverse type direction with the fighting mechanics, which is good. Can't really complain, you know. They look like they have you know, at least covering up to the Namek Saga from what we've seen from the trailers. They've got Vegeta, Piccolo, Raditz, Nappa, Frieza. They got all those villains in there. So Saiyan and Namek Saga is pretty much covered. We know that it's going to be open world. We know that there's going to be at least some skills in there for an RPG type feel of it. We know that all these things are going to be in there, and that the, you know, the date for it right now is set to be released in 2020. We know all these things that are confirmed right now. As of what we would hope for, or what I would hope for personally, is I want a full story of the entire Z timeline. It doesn't have to be Dragon Ball, and I'm not asking for a crazy amount of Super. If we get some Super, like Battle of Gods, that's fine, you know, or something like that, but anything else, I don't really mind about that. I want Saiyan Saga completely to the Buu Saga, into the Buu Saga. That to me would be satisfying. GT, it's whatever. Super, a little bit would be appreciated, but I don't really expect them to put any Super into this Dragon Ball Z game. They would have put Super in the title probably if they were going to do that. But I do really love the skill aspect of it that they had in Budokai and Tenkaichi and in Infinite World, where you actually could get skills for your characters or the different characters in the game, which just made it feel like an actual role-playing game, or like just an adventure game all around, and not just a simple beat-em-up or fighter game. I thought that was really cool how you could get different upgrades for your characters, or you would actually have to earn like the transform ability to go Super Saiyan or full power with Frieza. Like, I really thought that was a cool aspect and a cool way to just not go from menu screen to menu screen fighting random villains, you know. I'd really love for them to have, you know, all the modes like versus, online, if they could do an online, and maybe like a kind of like the tower, or what they did, you know, the challenge mode or a tournament setting, all those great modes that Dragon Ball Z has always had in their stuff. I hope they keep that in their games. I love that about Dragon Ball Z, and I hope they have, if they have a versus player mode for offline battle between your friends, I really hope they focus on the character roster and give us at least a 50 playable characters, at least. If they're covering the entirety of Z, I feel like they can give us 50 characters, minimum. 50 playable characters. I know they can do that. Last thing I'd love for them to add, I would love for them to get back to kind of like those individual combos that each character would have, kind of like Street Fighter and Naruto and all those games do. Like Dragon Ball Z kind of, I feel, started to mesh a lot of people's fighting into one solid fighting style, I feel, and I just wish that they would go back to really individualizing signature moves, signature skills, signature transformations, signature combos that we all know and like from our favorite characters. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video and stay until the end. That was my whole opinion on what I think about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, what I expect from it, and overall just my thoughts and excitement about the game, man. I love Dragon Ball Z. It's really been a childhood game of mine, and it's really fun. So like, subscribe, leave your comments down below on what you thought of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and what you expect from it and what you think is going to be in store.